Welcome to Wordplay Wednesday. Today we're looking at a couple of words from Mark Twain's story, Luck. And you'll see on the screen there, we're going to jump right in. You'll see on the screen there, we have three words: veracity, consternation, and prodigious. And we are going to see what they mean, how Mark Twain used them in this story, and where we can use them in our own writing and speaking. So I hope this is helpful to you, and I hopefully by the time we're done, we'll have a few more words to add to our vocabulary. So let's jump right in. If you haven't had a chance to read this story or listen to it, you can check it out on Saturday Stories. It was the most recent episode, and you can catch it there. We're going to look at this word veracity. Veracity. What does this mean? Oops, that's not working out very well. There we go. Truth or accuracy. Truth or accuracy. For example, we questioned the veracity of his statements. So somebody makes a statement and we say, I'm questioning the veracity of those statements. Now let's see how Mark Twain used that in this story. And for some reason, it's not finding it. Let's move on. Consternation. And it looks like I have the wrong. Somehow we have words, incorrect words in here. No worries. That's fine. We're just going to keep on going. Let's look at this word conspicuously. Conspicuously. What does that mean? It was at a banquet in London in honor of one of the two or three conspicuously illustrious English military names of this generation. When we have this word conspicuously, we're going to say that it is clearly visible. If something is conspicuous, it is clearly visible. It was at a banquet in London in honor of one of the two or three conspicuously, so meaning clearly visible, illustrious English military names of this generation. So it's telling where it was. And there we go, conspicuously. Let's have another look at another word in this story. So if something is conspicuous, it is clearly obvious. It's very visible. So perhaps you have something on your shoulder and it's very conspicuous. You know, you have a stain and it's conspicuous. You can't ignore it, that it's there. All right, let's have, here we have this word consternation. I'm not sure why they weren't finding it. Let's do this. There we go. Consternation. And here we have our meaning. A strong feeling of surprise or sudden disappointment that causes confusion. Causes confusion. So if somebody in their yard, you know, people like this beautiful grass in their yard. Now, if somebody all of a sudden loved having clover in their yard, you could say, I always welcomed clover, much to the consternation of my neighbors. So the neighbors felt this strong feeling of surprise or disappointment, or, you know, they were confused. Why would you like clover? Feeling of consternation. Let's see how it's used here. All right, so Mark Twain is telling this story about how he heard about this guy who just kept getting lucky. No matter what he did, he would blunder his way through things and he would just be lucky. So now, of course, the thing that would expose him and kill him at last was mathematics. So previous to this, he had helped this guy pass some tests. And then he saw, oh, well, he's not actually, like he continues to advance when he shouldn't be advancing. So I resolved to make his death as easy as I could. So I drilled him and crammed him and crammed him and drilled him just on the line of questions which the examiners would be most likely to use, and then launching him on his fate. Well, sir, try to conceive the result. To my consternation, he took the first prize. So consternation, again, meaning, here we go. Oh, there we go. A strong feeling of surprise or sudden disappointment. So he was really confused, like, how could this be? How could he take first prize? The only things he drilled were the things that he thought might be on the test, right? Just on the line of questions with which the examiners would most likely use. So he was, as it says here, surprised and suddenly disappointed, very confused. Let's see if we can get back to veracity. There we go. I had an extra space. All right, so in this story, he uses this word veracity. The verdict was a great surprise to me. So he is telling the clergyman is telling Mark Twain that this guy that he has looked up to is an absolute fool. He says, this verdict was a surprise to me. If its subject had been Napoleon or Socrates or Solomon, my astonishment could not have been greater. Two things I was well aware of: that the Reverend was a man of strict veracity, and his judgment of men was good. So this veracity, remember this truth. He was a man of truth. And so he thought, this story must be true. So when we're thinking about using this word, it's related to truth. And not only truth, but truth very accurate. Now, how about prodigious? Let's see. There we go. Amazing or wonderful, very impressive. So he is prodigiously talented, like just, very top of the line, amazing, wonderful, super impressive. Let's see how Mark Twain uses that in this story. So as it goes along, this guy, this Scoresby, he keeps passing all of these tests. And then he gets launched into this military career, and the clergyman who is telling this story says, okay, well, I got to do something about this. Sleep? There was no more sleep for me for a week. My conscience tortured me day and night. What I had done purely through charity, and only to ease the poor youth's fall. I had never had dreamed of any such preposterous result as the thing that happened. I felt as guilty and miserable as the creator of Frankenstein. Here was a wooden head whom I had put in the way of glittering promotions and prodigious responsibilities. So remember, we have prodigious being amazing, wonderful, very impressive. And so back to here, he is getting all of these amazing responsibilities that are meant for people that are at the top of their game. So there we have it. 3 words from Mark Twain's story, Luck. If you have not read it yet, it is a great read, great to listen to on Saturday stories. Lots of humor, and makes you think about who else is where they shouldn't be They just seem to be a little too lucky. But our three words: veracity, truth or accuracy; consternation, this feeling of surprise or sudden disappointment that causes confusion; and prodigious, amazing, wonderful, impressive. Where can you use these words this week? Or go ahead and type in the chat, type them in a sentence, and see how we can improve our vocabulary both in writing and in speaking. So until next time, keep reading and writing.